get started. Now I would like to introduce to you Luis Fernando Gazcon.
Thank you, Sherry. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this fourth and final session of our SMT stencil cleaning series, where we will be reviewing some of the best practices we recommend. We will be addressing some tips and tricks that you can use and apply on your stencil cleaning process, or both inside and outside your printer. I hope they are helpful to better understand and improve your cleanliness levels at your site. Remember, some may or may not apply to your specific process. If you have any questions, never hesitate in contacting us. We are always here to support you. The first tip we can recommend is something we have been addressing in previous sessions and from different perspectives, but it always comes to the same outcome. You need to make sure you match the chemical that you will be using to the specific residues you're trying to remove, whether it is solder paste or adhesives. A perfect match is what we will be looking for, where the cleaners are capable of completely solubilizing the residues without leaving any soils visible on it. It is possible that you will find yourself in a case where your cleaner is partially solubilizing the residues. This means that the cleaner may be able to dissolve part of the formula contents, but not all of its content. This will inevitably cause cleanliness issues, and you will be depending on other factors to remove those residues completely. In the specific case of the stencil cleaning application outside the printer, the equipment would compensate for this and help remove the remaining residues due to the mechanical action produced by either the streams or the ultrasonic. But the story may be completely different in the printer, where we depend entirely on the paper wipe. Their chemical compatibility will play a more important role in the process. And of course, when a product does not match the residue at all, it is evident, and all residues are left untouched. These can have serious implications on your printing process, affecting the entire productivity of your SMT line. This applies for IPA as well. So here I would like to ask you, in which one of these three cases are you falling in? It is important for you to know this is a test that you can do very easy at your site, and what you will be looking for is a perfect match. The second tip applies for stencil cleaning processes outside your printer more than inside. Always monitor and control your concentration in a regular basis. You will have to identify the method that best suits your process and chemical and establish a routine. We have gone through all types of methods available out there in a past Tech to Tech session. Make sure to go on and take a look at them. If you have specific questions or inquiries, you can always contact your KYZEN representative for further support. But how often would you have to measure and adjust the concentration? Well, it really depends on how many stencils you are cleaning and on the type of equipment you're using. Whether it is spraying air or an ultrasonic type of technology, every equipment will have a consumption caused by drag out, either to the rinsing stage or to the drying stage. Some of the liquid solution will always be lost by the dragging inherent in the process. And the more stencils you clean, the more drag out you will generate. Therefore, our tip number 3 would be to correlate the number of stencils cleaned to the consumption you are experiencing. There will always be a positive correlation between these two factors. You can start by measuring the concentration in a daily basis and make sure to record the number of stencils cleaned during that period. It will give you an accurate idea of how much the concentration will be changing, and you will be able to determine more precisely how often you need to measure and adjust the concentration in order to keep it in the recommended operational range. Now moving a little towards the cleaning inside the printer, tip number 4 involves making sure to apply a correct wetting of the paper, which is key to ensure an adequate underside wipe cleaning in between your printing process. Solvent should form consistent and uniform line about 1 inch thick across the whole length of the paper roll to ensure a complete coverage of the stencil surface during the wiping. Paper should be damp and not wet. Dispensing too much will leave behind excessive solvent on the bottom side of the stencil and can mix with paste, causing defects. Dispensing too little solvent will not effectively remove the flux from the bottom of the stencil, and it also will be causing defects. Every cleaner product has its unique chemical and physical properties, which affect the way it will behave in your process. In order to achieve the previously recommended wetting of the paper, solvent dosing needs to be adjusted differently for every chemical. Some may require more and some may require less dosing in order to achieve the desired paper damping. Depending on its nature, whether they are solvent or water-based, this will define its physical properties and therefore their wettability. The left video is a pumping dosing system. It delivers the solvent through a nozzle bar directly to the paper, and it is controlled by time in seconds. The more seconds it pumps, the more solvent it delivers to the paper. The right video is a rolling cylinder dosing system. It delivers the solvent using a cylinder that is partially submerged in a solvent pond. The faster the cylinder rolls, the more solvent it brings to the paper. Dosing is regulated here by the speed of the rolling cylinder. Usually is in inches per second or centimeters per second. Make sure you are adjusting the dosage accordingly to the type of solvent you're using in order to obtain the desired uniform line mentioned before without over or under dosing. This brings us to our last tip of today's session. The material of all the consumables that you bring into your system will define the final results you get out of it. This refers directly to the type and quality of consumables you are using in your system. This includes, of course, the solvent, but also the type of paper. It is very important because it can dictate the wettability of the solvent on the paper. A poor quality paper can cause problems like the ones we see in this video. The paper is so thin that the jets of solvent pass all the way through its fibers, generating internal spills, potentially damaging other systems or parts of your printer, which are not meant to be in contact with the solvent. And additionally, these solvent jets could come in direct contact with the stencil and the solder paste that is waiting to be applied, potentially changing its consistency, thus causing printing errors. A suitable polyester or resin paper has a higher wettability. The fibers are thick enough to absorb the solvent applied and has a greater capacity to catch the solder balls and remove all flux residues from under the stencil. A high quality and reliable paper combined with a specialized cleaning agent will help you improve your stencil cleanliness, keeping the apertures unclogged for a longer period, thus improving the productivity yields on the printing process. Thanks for listening. I hope these tips were useful to you all, and we'll see you soon in another Tech to Tech session. I send it back to you, Sherry.
Thank you, Luis. If you would like to discuss this topic further, please contact your local KYZEN representative or send an email to tech@KYZEN.com, and we will have one of our cleaning experts schedule a follow-up with you as soon as possible. Again, we thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you again soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great day.